Hey guys, welcome back to We Watched Movie. I am Mike, and this is a review with spoilers of 2001's slasher, holiday-themed slasher, Valentine. With Hard Eyes in the movie theaters right now, and Valentine's Day coming up this weekend, it seemed like a fun time to watch this for the second time in my life. It's directed by Jamie Blanks, who's the director of Urban Legend from a couple years earlier. We do a show on this show called Just Like Scream, where we go back and we look at all these movies that use Scream's formula to create their stuff. You know, I Know What You Did Last Summer, movies like that. A very simple formula. And we have a great time doing it. But the funny thing about this is that Jamie Blanks purposefully did not want to go back and do another Just Like Scream film. He set out to go out of his way with Valentine, which is based on a book, mostly in name only. There's not many other similarities to it. And make a film that was more like an 80s slasher, a throwback to the slashers that happened before Scream took over. The movie was originally slated to be directed by Richard Kelly, but he instead decided to do a little movie called Donnie Darko. The timelines that we could be living in are so very, very different. But the movie ended up getting panned by critics worldwide after it came out and by audiences. Nobody seemed to like Valentine very much whatsoever until later on it really got a cult status going for it. And there's a lot of people who are really hardcore fans of the film now. And I think that's probably because A, many people found the movie looking for a holiday-themed slasher for Valentine's Day that was an alternative to My Bloody Valentine, and B, because folks love slasher movies, they always have a chance to survive on the back end, and C, finally, it really does scratch that Scream itch, whether they wanted it to or not. So this movie, instead of opening up with a kill like so many of its brethren do, it purposefully starts out and you've got this fuckle-toothed kid back in the day who's just trying to get a girl to dance with him, and he ends up finding this little bigger girl named Dorothy. She's not actually that much bigger in real life, but for the sake of the story, she is, you know what I'm saying. They end up making out under the bleachers, complete with really gross tongue noises, and then when a couple of butt cracks find them and accuse her of making out with the weird kid, she lies and says that Jeremy Melton attacked her, and the kids beat the crap out of him, and everybody makes fun of him, and the goddamn pin is blue. So afterwards, he does what anyone would do and ends up burning his parents' house down allegedly before ending up in a juvenile mentally ill facility. Now, fast forward years later, we've got this same group of girls, the ones that were all mean to him when he was asking him to dance. Dorothy is there, the one who lied about him, and we're caught up in their lives. They're older, they're dating, they're doing their whole thing. They start to get picked off one by one. This sleazy detective is hired to come on and figure out who's doing this, and he mentions that, hey, maybe it is this Jeremy Melton kid, who, by the way, could be anybody at this point. It's been so long, his face could have changed so much, they have no idea what he looks like or who he can be impersonating, and he could have even gotten plastic surgery. So they should be very wary of any boys, men around them that they're dating or in their personal lives. Before a big party at the end ties it all together and we find out who the killer is. The cast for the movie, first off, is fascinating. It's a fun nostalgic throwback. It's like when you watch movies like American Pie and you just enjoy seeing some familiar faces again. Katherine Heigl's the opening kill. Don't always enjoy seeing her specifically in this movie because she ended up hating the movie. She had said that had she read the entire script, she never would have done trash like this. I'm paraphrasing. It's our fault you didn't do your job and read the whole script? Wow, way to tell on yourself there, butthole. She's actually the opening kill of the movie. She's only in it for a few minutes. We see her on a dinner date with this guy who keeps referring to himself in the third person. It's actually pretty funny. Fuck you, Jason.
Jason likes your dress.
And then as she's working on a cadaver as a medical student, she ends up getting her throat cut. And what is a really cool chase scene. I love how all that was set up, despite the director, Jamie Blanks, being really pissed off that the producer made him do that cadaver switch out scene that takes place because he just thought it was dumb. I think it still worked out at the end. The only problem is after this cool chase scene where you've got this Valentine's Day killer premiering the mask for the first time, which it's okay. It's kind of a middle of the road mask, you know, like it's not the greatest thing. It's not Michael Myers' mask, but it's not anything terrible. It's freaky, creepy enough. And I like that it actually ties back into the actual holiday of Valentine's Day. My Bloody Valentine's Day is cool, but you know, what the fuck does a mining mask have to do with Valentine's Day? Nothing. It's just the story. Anyways, but it's a cool chase scene where he's stabbing bodies, stabbing cadavers going through there. It's set up really nicely, but it's just a simple throat slit at the end of the day. Now, this is a theme you'll find with the entire movie. Apparently, from the studio, the kills got cut severely in this, and they were really nerfed, as you would say. The entirety of the movie would have been better had they could have gone full on with the kills. We'll talk about that as we go forward. That doesn't mean there's not still good kills in here, but almost every single kill in here would have been made better by an extended sequence with possibly more budget and gore in it, starting with this one. But that being said, it's a great chase scene. It's a great introduction to our slasher. Now, one of the things that the killer does in this movie before he kills his victims is he'll send them a Valentine, and it'll be a semi-threatening Valentine. I think the movie goes away from that too quickly too. I think had they honed in on that and tried to make it a little bit scarier, it could have been more like the phone calls in Black Christmas, or obviously the phone calls in Scream, or you have the letters, I Know and You Know What She Did Last Summer. Not that those were anything great, but maybe they were trying to avoid that, again, not wanting this to feel like a 90s Scream movie. But either way, I feel like that was an underutilized thing, except for one scene where he sends the girl chocolates and there's maggots inside of him. That's fucking gross, and I appreciate that scene quite much. But going back to some of the cast members we were talking about, you've got Mary Shelton, who was Judy Lemon Squares from Scream, obviously, and then you've got David Boreanaz, who rocked the same hair that I did when I was younger and had all my hair, and his totally notable face from Angel and all this other stuff. AJ from Empire Records is in this movie, and ironically, he's an art dealer. You could, ipso facto, just pretend that that was him and that he became an asshole after Liv Tyler. Like, they couldn't get over the fact that she wanted to bang Rex Manning, and then he just became like a grizzled art dealer piece of crap womanizer. It just fits so perfectly, and I love it. But it's awesome to see him, such an underrated actor. They really missed out on an opportunity to kill that character. I mean, we spent a lot of time setting up who this dude was and how sleazy he was to not actually kill him off at the end of the day. And they really missed an opportunity to tell the killer that I don't have to explain my art to you, Warren. But maybe they were setting it up for a sequel, kind of like in Thanksgiving, how some of those people survive and you just know there's a sequel coming. Maybe they were hopeful for a sequel so they didn't kill off all of these characters. We get to see Daniel Cosgrove fresh off his legendarily cuntish character from Van Wilder as another douche rocket, this time as a thieving womanizer who gets a totally unfulfilling quick axe to the back after a long-ass setup, all because mommy went slumming one night back in college. And my own personal character from the film, Denise Richards, and the character of Paige Prescott. I love this character in this film. She is jacked, man. Like, Denise Richards is muscular as hell, just coming off of that Bond movie that she did. And I feel like she should have had a chance to beat up on old Valentine killer some more, in my opinion. But she was great. She's always being slut-shamed by her friends just because she's flirty, but she's actually not that big of a whore. She's actually not that big of a hoe at all. There's one scene where she's flirting with a detective, but then he hits on her and she tells him to fuck off. And then there's this super douche who pulls a Craigster on her from Cruel Intentions. You know what I'm talking about, right? If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Where he's like, "This isn't Grandma's house, you dumb bitch. Suck it." And they're all like, "The Craigster! All right, the Craigster." God, I love that movie. It's so good. But yeah, this dude literally, that scene takes place basically. He's like, "Well, wax it." And then the scene could have gotten better if they had a little bit more room to do what they want to with it, but she just kind of ends up tying him up and pouring some candle wax on his cock, as you do, the Craigster. But I know Denise Richards was underratedly really good in this movie, and it's right up there neck and neck for the best kill. When she finally does die in this scene, she's thrown into a hot tub, and then the tops close on her, so she's, under the water about to drown, and then the killer grabs a power drill and is drilling holes in it, and some of them are hitting her, and then just Ho-Hum picks up the thing and just throws the goddamn tool in the thing and just electrocutes her to death. It was a really good kill scene. They really took that and made it an inventive, cool kill. Again, I just wish she had more chance to fight back a little bit. The stunt actress in this scene kept getting cut when she was getting thrown into the hot tub, and that pissed the director off, and he was like, "Man, people keep getting hurt on this fucking movie," and got pissed at the stunt director, because he's like, "I'm shocked that people keep getting hurt on this movie, considering the guy under the Valentine's mask was played by one of the producer's sons." But the second kill that's right there with that kill, it goes to this weirdo who keeps trying to rhyme shit with the name Kate throughout the movie, and he gets the hot ass iron right to the fucking face before the killer takes the iron by the rope and, Taking Back Sunday, swings it into his fucking face several times. Again, could have been better had we got to see more of it, but this is a great kill. This is a great fucking kill. Which one of those two is your favorite, by the way? Comment down below. So we get to the big party at the end as some of these people are killed off. Again, some of the kills are kind of forgettable. There's one where the killer just shoots a couple of arrows into a girl and then it's ho-hum over with. By the way, this killer's nose always bleeds whenever he's doing the kill. It's like the way Michael gets a husband's bulge in his overalls. This killer's nose bleeds, so it's a dead giveaway. So finally, all of this ends at a gigantic party at the end of the movie. Again, I know they were trying to get away from the Scream stuff, but stuff like this is still there. The great soundtrack, this could have been a Scream soundtrack easily. The Deftones are on there, Marilyn Manson's all there. It's a good soundtrack. It's right up there with some of the better ones from the time period for sure. But yeah, again, ends at a big party. They might as well have played Bird Brain's Youth of America as everyone's pulling up to the party.
Say a prayer for the youth of America.
But we tie up some storylines that have just gone on for way too long, starting with Adam and Kate, this will they or won't they thing. He's been trying to get her back, but he had an alcohol problem back in the day and drank too much. She finds him chugging beers or chugging champagne or whatever, gets pissed off. He goes chasing her around the house, and they really set him up to look like this is the killer, because he's saying shit only a killer would say. Like, nobody has 2 Bud Lights and is like, turns into fucking Jack Torrance all of a sudden, you know?
I'm asking you nicely. Dance with me.
I mean, if you do, then she shouldn't be with him anyway. But that's what's happening. The movie's setting him up full on to be the killer. He chases her around when all of a sudden the killer shows up and tackles Kate. So we're thinking, okay, so he's not the killer when he turns around the corner and pumps like 72 bullets into the killer, who is revealed to be Dorothy, who we just saw have this whole monologue about how Kate was just jealous of her and her boyfriend, who was the smother it with a medicated pad guy from Van Wilder. It's awesome douchebag actor, by the way. I love that guy. But yeah, they spend so much time setting up that whole angle of he's stealing from her, I guess just for this twist to work. I will say that the twist works really, really well. And it does separate itself from Scream and other movies that just note by note literally rip off Scream. And then she embraces him and he's holding her and we're thinking, oh, the killer was Dorothy all along. And then motherfucker's nose starts bleeding. And as we know, the killer's nose bleeds. So he's Jeremy Melton. He got all jacked up, got some hair gel, fixed his danglers, and set up Dorothy the same way that she screwed him over. I mean, with a lot more heinous deaths. But yeah, and then gets away with it in the end, as far as we know. Dorothy's framed for the murder. He gets his girl back, and the movie just ends. Now, Valentine should have gotten a sequel. I think it definitely should have gotten a sequel because that could have went some crazy places, but almost in a way it works better that it didn't, because it's like, oh my God, does she know? She doesn't know. Is she going to find out? I don't know. It's like the ending to The Thing all over again. Definitely not that much, but I enjoy the hell out of watching it. It's an easy hour and a half watch for sure. I think it goes off on tangents and like needed to tighten up some of its storylines for sure, to keep you from, checking your watch a few times. And I think that the payoffs were really missing with many of the kills. If they were allowed to make these kills more R-rated and more entertaining, I think that this film could have been over the top and just tighten a couple things up here and there for sure. One of those movies that is a perfect candidate for a remake. I mean, bring back Jamie Blanks and just let him have his way with, the rating and things like that. This is the kind of movie that would definitely benefit from a remake. Stop remaking great films. Remake movies like this that had a great killer idea, a great setup, a great structure. You're going to have to change some things to keep it surprising for sure, but a great payoff at the end, and just put a little bit more money into it. I think it could be a great film. It's not a great film as it stands right now. It's more of a 7 out of 10 for me, but you can see the structure of a great slasher here for sure, and I definitely think it's underrated. What do you guys think about Valentine? What's your favorite Valentine's Day horror movie? And what movie do you guys want to see us cover next? I am losing the ability to speak. Haha! Damn it, I'm a doctor, not a pool man! I love your all's fucking faces. I hope you guys have a great day, and we shall talk soon.